Hi, I'm Joe Puste, Program Director for IBM Cognos Mid-Market Products. Welcome to Module 3 of the Introduction to IBM Cognos Express 9.0. In this module, we're going to talk a little bit about configuring and administering the IBM Cognos Express environment. So our goals here today are to look at the different configuration options within the individual products of Express, Express Reporter, Express Advisor, Express Accelerator, how to add a new data source to the Express Manager environment, as well as how to add and configure a new user to the Express Manager environment. So we're going to switch over to our Express Manager console. And in a previous module, in Module 2, we looked at how to install these various products. As you can see here now, they've all been installed. They are all running. They all have a nice check mark next to them to indicate that they are up and running. And because they're installed, I can do a number of different things. The manager itself, as you know, is sort of the foundational piece of Cognos Express. And the three products themselves, Advisor, Reporter, Accelerator, all have slightly different configuration options. We'll go in order here. Advisor is installed, therefore I can uninstall it, logically enough. I can stop the Advisor service. So each of these products has some server component that gets installed or initialized, and as well as a client component that is made available that goes with that product. And on that note, I can make that thick client, or that client piece. In this case with Advisor, the client piece is called Data Advisor. If I choose to, I can simply click on that, in which case you can disable the availability of that client. So if I want to make it available or unavailable, again, this is contingent on end user rights. So as you can see here, it's changing that configuration slightly, and at a later point I'll show you where that actually manifests itself in the user environment. Configure, there is a configuration option if there are cubes. These are all based on TM1 technology. Advisor, both Advisor and Accelerator, leverage the TM1 technology. If some TM1 cubes are in fact already defined, in this panel I can indicate whether I want to preload the data in the cubes to optimize the performance and response time of the Advisor environment. But in this case, it's a brand new installation, therefore I have no cubes yet. Reporter, very similar. I can uninstall it, restart or stop the service. Framework Manager is the client piece of Reporter. Again, very similar to Advisor. I can disable that or enable that. And in this case, the configuration options for Reporter are basically a measure very similar to that preload. Again, an Advisor is a mechanism to optimize the performance. As you can read there, you should move the slider down if users run complex reports typically, and keep it towards the right if users typically run simpler reports. Okay, so this is not an exact science, and that's what the slider is all about. It's up to you to kind of tweak that as you see fit. And Accelerator is the third and final component. Again, Accelerator client is the thick client. I can uninstall, stop, and restart. And in this case, the Accelerator server itself does not have any configuration options. So those are the product by product configuration options and administrative options. Let's go into a bit more detail here. I'm going to start with users. Okay, so I have already defined the user, or the system has actually basically done that for me when I installed Express, and now it's a simple matter to come in here and add a brand new user. I'm going to add myself, and my given name is Joe, and my surname is Puste, and I am at us.ibm.com. I can assign myself a password, initial password, which users can then change. As you can see there, I can force them to do that, as well as now apply whatever groups I think I should be part of. So if I'm an Advisor user, I'll need the Data Advisor potentially. If I'm Accelerator user, I potentially need access to that client, and basically at that point I could just click OK, and that user is defined. And in the Event Manager here, I can see that I can see them, first of all, the membership, the groups that I belong to, this new user that I created, as well as the fact that a user was created, which is great for auditing purposes and so forth. We talked about Framework Manager briefly as part of the reporter environment to create data models, but we have also provided a very simple way to quickly get started and report on data sources. So what I'm going to do now is point to a data source on my machine called Northwinds, which is a demo database that comes with the SQL Server technology from Microsoft, and I can simply pick the right drivers that I choose or I would like to, and give it a name. The server name, in fact, is my machine host name, which is what you would put here. The database name is Northwind, and the typical credentials there is SASA for the default administrator user in Microsoft. So watch closely what happens here. The data source is being added. I can make it do that in the background. What it's doing, though, is going into the relational database, interrogating the schema, and creating a default package which I can use later to write reports against. Okay, so I'll just click that and make that go away and let it finish in the background. Once it's done, though, you will see that that administrator data source, there it is, it shows up right now. It's been created and now it's available for reporting. So that basically brings us to the end of Module 3, which is where our goals were to show you those product configuration options, how to add a new data source, and how to add a new user. And basically, the subsequent modules in this series, we'll talk about Express Reporter, Express Accelerator, and Express Advisor in a bit more detail. Thank you.